This is CC Cycle 2, Week 8. Today we started with geography. So we had our maps out and we basically I showed where each, can you see that really well? I showed where each area was. So we started with the Cape of Good Hope here on the southern tip of Africa. Then we moved over to the Strait of Magellan and then the Treaty of Tordesillas and the Canary Islands. What we did was we had the kids highlight it, then they would say it, repeating after me. And then at the end, we did that a couple times, and at the end, unlabeled maps, I would point to an area and the kids would tell me what each area was. So that was geography. For math, we did a little different this week because we had a little bit of a bigger challenge with the 14s. So we played a little game with this chart. We had teams of 2, and the goal was to be the first team to fill out each block with the 14s. And we took turns. So the first time around, one student would be the writer for the numbers, and then the other student was their helper. The second time around, they switched, and whoever was the writer the first time became the helper. And that's how we did our 14s. Then we moved on to our English. Today we did the reflexive pronouns. So our tune for the song is going to change. It was na 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 na. So now we're moving into kind of the bridge of the song, and so the tune sounds like this. Reflexive pronouns, myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. And then we're almost done with this song. I know it cuts off right there, but we're almost done with this song, and that transitions into the next week. So it's myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. And the basic trick for the pronouns this week is that we're just adding self or selves to all the pronouns that we've already learned. Okay, so then we're moving on to history. Tell me about European explorers. So for this one, we do hand motion. So between the late 1400s and the mid 1500s, Diaz rounded the Cape of Good Hope. Amerigo Vespucci sailed to the Americas. Then we have Balboa, take our B in sign language. Let me see where I am. Balboa crossed Central America to the Pacific, and Magellan's crew sailed around the globe. And Coronado explored the American Southwest. So it's 1400s, you take your 4, 1400s, 1500s. Then we have Diaz around the Cape of Good Hope. Then we have Amerigo Vespucci sailed to the Americas. Then we have Balboa crossed Central America to the Pacific. Magellan's crew, this is our M in sign language, sailed around the globe. And then lastly, we have Coronado explored the American Southwest. And that is our history for week 8. Next, we had timeline. And for timeline, it's the council. We have our 3 because that's where it was determined that the Godhead is 3 in 1, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So Council of Nicaea. Then we have Augustine of Hippo, a time of change. So we're going to do that. You could even turn your whole body around in a circle as they sing the song. Then we have Jerome completes the Vulgate, that translation. Then we have Visigoths sack Rome. And then that leads us to the Middle Ages. So we're going to stop in the middle of our hand, and that's from circa 450 to circa 1500. Okay, then we have Council of Chalcedon. There were 2 of them, so council, it was all about Christianity, so we do the sign for this. And then we have the last one is Western, so we take our W, Western Roman Empire falls to barbarian. So we stand up and we do it. Western Roman Empire falls to barbarians. Okay, that is our timeline. For Latin, we did the first conjugation endings In perfect tense, for that, this week we had a visitor, our little monkey friend, and came and asked the class what these were, and then we sang it together. So it's E isti it, emis istis errant, first conjugation, perfect tense, perfect tense. And let's see, I think we've covered everything but science. And so for science, we have, what are some aquatic biomes? Some aquatic biomes are ponds and lakes. So this is our pond and lake. And we added sound to it for the animal that lives in each of these each of these biomes so that we could relate it. So ponds and lakes is quack, quack, quack. Then we have streams and rivers, and that's a fish. Waddle, waddle, waddle. And then we have wetlands and estuaries, ribbit, 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 frog. And then we have oceans and seas. And I want to thank Stephanie Laughlin for a lot of these motions. We're just adding some animals. And so for oceans and seas, it is a whale spouting. So again, some aquatic biomes are ponds and lakes, quack, 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 streams and rivers, waddle, 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 estuaries and wetlands, ribbit, ribbit, and oceans and seas. Okay, that is our memory work for Cycle 2, Week 8. I want to throw in an extra tip. For fine arts, we are doing the tin whistle. And for us, we actually printed out each of the dynamics and their symbols on the side. And so in class, we laid those out and we sang John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. And we actually started out in pianissimo all the way to piano, or to forte and fortissimo. And so it's John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. His name is my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout, John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith, da 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 da. So that way we could cover, and as I sang that, we had all the different dynamics laid out on the floor, and we pointed to which dynamic we are on at each time. Then we did the same with our cycle song, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and that worked really well. I got that tip from Mrs. C last year, and I thought it worked really well. So just wanted to share that as well. That's a great idea for learning dynamics, and I hope you guys all have a great week. We'll see you next week.